Hi folks, this is Kalim Raouf from IT Visualizer channel. We will continue our lab, the Terminator lab. This is the video number 15. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have migrated our primary domain controller from Windows Server 2012 R2 to Windows Server Data Center 2022. So we have discussed this topic in two parts. Part 1 was the theoretical or the plan for the migration, and the second part was the practical or the implementation of this migration. We have successfully done this. We have a lot of steps done. It's not only migrating the Vismo roles. Okay, this is not the case. There is some steps need to be done to make something like a cleanup or something like to prepare the environment for removing the old PDC or the old primary domain controller. After the removal, everything should be perfect and should be working without any errors. We have done this in the previous video. So we have finished this phase of migrating the primary domain controller. We need to complete our migration process because we are not only migrating the primary domain controller, we are migrating a lot of roles. So for example, we have this is SKN HQ DC0212. This is our additional domain controller, and it has Windows Server 2012 R2 installed on it. And this is not only the additional domain controller, it hosts a lot of roles like the WSOS role, the file server role, the DHCP role, and this is the IP address of this server. We will migrate WSOS file server DHCP on a separate server, which will be named SKNHQMF01. It will host all of the following: DHCP, WSOS file server, and in the future we will install on it WDS or Windows Deployment Service, and MDT Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. This will be the name, or will be the IP address of the server 192.168.1.15. So these are the roles, and we will create an additional domain controller, but this time we will have Windows Server 2022 installed on it, and this will be the new additional domain controller, which will its IP address will be 192.168.1.10. If we get a little bit look here, so we will have two additional controls, or two additional domain controllers, one which has Windows Server 2012 R2 installed on it, and the other will be Windows Server 2022 Data Center. Later we will demote this additional domain controller, and at the end we will have this graph. We can see now we will have, this is our primary domain controller. This will be the last, or this what we should, or what we aim to do, or what we aim to reach. We need to have this SKNHQDC0122. This will be our PDC, or our primary domain controller. And then we will have SKNHQDC0222. This will be our additional domain controller. And take care that it has Windows Server 2022 installed on it. These two have the operating system Windows Server 2022 Data Center. And lastly, we will have SKNHQMF01, which will be our DHCP, WSOS file server, WDS MDT. This is the IP address. All of these servers will have Windows Server 2022 installed on them. So finally, we will migrate all of the servers that has Windows Server 2012 R2 operating system will be migrated to Windows Server 2022. So what we will do today? Today we need to create a second, or not a second, a third virtual machine that will host, or that will we will migrate to it the DHCP, the WSOS, and the file server. So this is our focus today on our video. We will create a third virtual machine using the Packer HashiCorp. Again, I think, let me show you all the steps, or just to remind you all, this is the step. Okay, we will have the Packer HashiCorp, it's exe file. It will go to a JSON file. This JSON file will install Windows, or it will go to an ISO file that will install Windows unattendedly. Okay, there is an unattended XML file contained within this ISO to make the installation of the Windows unattended, and we will have a floppy disk. So these two devices are the JSON file will go and search these two devices which are created in the newly virtual machine, and the virtual machine itself will be created also using the JSON file. So the JSON file will create the virtual machine, and then it will insert or will put in it two devices, DVD and floppy disk. The DVD, it will insert in it also, it will create the DVD device and insert in it unattended ISO file or the Windows operating system with an unattended ISO file in it, okay? And the floppy disk, it is pointing to a folder that contains some scripts we have discussed before, that these scripts will wake automatic Windows updates, it will install VirtualBox guest editions, it will do a couple of things. Okay, so this is basically the process. We have repeated this a lot of times. This is the third time we do this process, but I will go quickly on it because we have already done this before several times. So let's see or continue with our lab. So here, this is the folder that contains the JSON file, okay, that will install the new virtual machine, which will be our new DHCP server, file server, and WSOS server, and in the future Windows deployment server and Microsoft deployment toolkit. Here we are opening the PowerShell. You can work with PowerShell 4, but PowerShell 5, but I prefer to use PowerShell 7. I have already installed on my my host machine, and now I am telling him to change directory or to go to the folder that contains the Packer HashiCorp exe file. It is in this folder. So I'm telling him to cd or change directory to dpacker 8 Packer Win 2022 main. This is the folder that contains, here you can see this is the folder that contains the Packer HashiCorp exe file, and this is the command we will use to initialize or to run the Packer HashiCorp, which in sequence it will run a JSON file. Okay, so let's see. This is the whole command to run the Packer HashiCorp exe file and to run a section in the JSON file which is related to the VirtualBox, okay? And again, it will use a certain JSON file. So it will use in this JSON file the section related to the VirtualBox. This is the name of the JSON file, which is 2022 GUI. This is the JSON file related to the Windows operating system with graphical interface. We have a lot of JSON files. Some of them are related to Windows with graphical interface, and some is related to the core or to Windows core. We are currently installing Windows Server 2022 Data Center GUI or with graphical interface. So now we will run the JSON file, and the same process that we have discussed earlier with the previous two virtual machines. It will begin verifying the ISO file, check or it will begin verifying the checksum of the Windows Server 2022 ISO file. Okay, it will check if it is correct or not. Okay, and then it will begin creating the virtual machine. We have already verified that, or we have set this or set the setting of this virtual machine in the JSON file. Normally we'll have a server with one processor, 2 GB of RAM, 300 GB of hard disk space, and this is basically the the initial, or this is the basic hardware. And then after finishing installation and everything is correct, or after this virtual machine has the Windows installed on it and different programs, we will add an additional hard disk and an additional network adapter. Okay, so we have done this previously in all of the two virtual machines, or on the previous two virtual machines. So now it will take some time. It is verifying the checksum of the ISO file. Now it is communicating with the VirtualBox and then begin creating our virtual machine with the name that we need. And this is the memory, the CPU, the firmware, and the DVD, which will contain in it an auto unattended ISO file, which will make the Windows installation unattended. Okay, so now it's starting the virtual machine, and now it will begin the process installation of the Windows. We just need only to click or put space or press space or any key to continue with the booting process. Okay, so I'm trying here to get the PowerShell window and the virtual box or the virtual machine window to be side by side, so we can see both processes in the same window, or to see them combined. We can see this window and this window together. Okay, so now we can see that it has begun the running of the virtual machine, and it's now waiting for the WinRM. This is the service that will be activated on the Windows operating system to let the Packer HashiCorp exe file communicate with the Windows operating system and control it and do the rest of the setup of this virtual machine, especially running the PowerShell scripts to set up different programs. Okay, so now we can see that it is already installing the Windows operating system. Okay, it will take some time. So this is basically a repeated process. We have done it a lot of times. Okay, so it will begin installation of Windows, and then it will go after that and begin activating the WinRM service, and then it will begin doing some PowerShell scripts to set some setting. Okay, and then it will log into the Windows and then begin installation of the VirtualBox. We will see all this in a moment, but we have done this already a couple of times, so we need to restart. I will leave it. I will not do any input. Okay, it will restart automatically. Okay, and then it will begin, or it will continue installation of the Windows. As we can see here, all of this is unattended, and this is very simple. We can do this by generating what we call an answer file and inject it to a Windows server 2022 installation ISO image. Okay, this can be done. We have done this before in the previous or in the beginning of the lab. We have discussed how we can create an answer file, and there is a lot of websites that can generate answer files for you. Okay, you can tell him that I need to, for example, name the machine so and so, have an hard disk, and answer, or tell him the setting that you need to be given to the Windows during the installation, and he will make an answer file, and then you can put it in the Windows ISO image, and it will run unattendedly, or the installation will run unattendedly by looking to the answer file that you have created before. Okay, so now we can see that the installation is completing. I need to pass this real quickly actually, so this will take some time. Now we can see that it is doing something called adding feature. Here we are telling him, or he is adding netframe 3.5. This is already stated in a PowerShell script or in an auto unattended answer file. So we can install netframe 3.5 automatically through unattended answer file, or through the unattended answer file, or through script. I think this is done using the unattended answer file. So we are stating in the unattended answer file to add netframe 3.5. Okay, this is needed, or this netframe is needed by a lot of programs in the Windows. Okay, so now it is already doing all of the process. Okay, before that, before the netframe, it has already activated the WinRM. So we can see now, before installing netframe, WinRM was initialized on the operating system, or activated, and the Packer now is controlling the Windows through the WinRM. Now it is installing the VirtualBox guest editions, okay, which is something like VMware tools. These are tools that are used to set or to inject drivers to this virtual machine. Okay, a graphical or the video driver, the network adapter driver, and a couple of drivers that will enhance the performance of the virtual machine and let you share things between your host and this virtual machine, or your laptop and this virtual machine. Okay, so this is basically, we have done this before in a lot of times, or in the previous two virtual machines. So now he is waiting for the installation of the VirtualBox guest editions. Now it is going to the internet and downloading the latest version of VirtualBox. It will take some time, and you will know that this VirtualBox guest edition is installed by the flickering of the screen, because the video adapter driver is injected and installed, and this will change the display setting of this virtual machine. Okay, so now it is running a script from the floppy disk. This script is responsible for downloading and installing VirtualBox guest editions. Okay, it will take some time. Basically, it will take some time. Okay, I can leave it like this. So now it is downloading the guest editions, and then it will begin mounting. It's an ISO file, so it is downloading it and then mounting it to the virtual machine, and then begin the installation of the VirtualBox guest editions. Okay, we can see now it is installing something like certifications. I think this is to secure the connection and the download of this VirtualBox from a verified Oracle website. I think something like this. It is securing the download and the installation of the VirtualBox guest edition. We can see now that the screen is flickering, so that means that the guest editions are installed. So it's now installing the VirtualBox guest editions. It will take some time. This is the first script, and then it will run a couple of scripts. One of them is to something called setup script. This will do some registry keys, or will insert some registry keys, or modify some registry entries that will, for example, disable server manager to open, or to be or to appear when automatically when you log into the server. Okay, and a couple of things that would change the taskbar, and some things we have discussed this in the first video in the series. Okay, so this is a script that will do some changes to the server, or the Windows Server setting. Okay, and then after this one we will begin the third script to update the Windows, something called Windows Update. Okay, so now it is doing something. For example, here it's doing some changes to the PowerShell module on this server. It is adding something called PowerShell profile, maybe some setting related to the PowerShell, maybe something like the font in the PowerShell, some things. Okay, so now he have already done all of this, and he is restarting the machine, and after that he will begin working with the third script, which is Windows Update. If you log in now, you will see that there is some changes done to the server. We will see that the taskbar is changed, and some changes appear on the appearance of the Windows Server 2022. If you see now, this was not, if you wait for a couple of seconds, so you can see here that the taskbar is smaller. Okay, and some things are hidden. Okay, so this is done by the setup script. Okay, and actually you can see also here that the server manager doesn't pop up when you log into the Windows Server. This is also done by the setup script. Okay, now it is working with the Windows Update script. This script will update the Windows operating system. It will go to the Windows or Microsoft Windows website, okay, or Microsoft Update Windows site, or Microsoft Update site maybe, and it will download the latest updates for this operating system and install them. It will accept them, and then it will download them, and then it will install them. it will be done in three phases. First, accepting the updates, then downloading the updates, and at the end, installing the updates. And this process will not be done once, it will be done twice, just to make sure that there is no further updates needed to be downloaded. So he will check for updates twice. Okay, the first one, it will check, download, install, and then restart, and then check again. Okay, so here he is downloading a small module that is responsible for uh, putting some commands or inserting some commands in the PowerShell module that is related to the Windows updates. So this is a module that will help us update the Windows using the PowerShell. Okay, it's called new get. Okay, this is some or this file will insert the PowerShell Windows Update commands in the PowerShell module. So now it is download, or it's now installing the Windows updates. It's not installing now, it's checking for the Windows updates. We can see here that the taskbar is smaller and the icons are a little bit small. This was not the case. Okay, the default taskbar was not like this. So this is done using the setup script. Okay, so now I think we can see he has accepted 1, 2, 3, 4. There is 4 updates. They are accepted. So he checked the Microsoft Windows Update website. He have got 4 updates. Okay, most of them are cumulative updates related to the NetFrame. We can see here that NetFrame updates are available and downloaded. That means that NetFrame is already installed on this machine. Okay, so it will continue uh, accepting the updates. Then we need to download them. Okay, one of them are updates related to the Windows Defender. Okay, so I think we can go further. Here we can see that he has already, or he began downloading the updates that he has accepted before. Okay, he have downloaded 2 updates, still 2 updates remaining. If you can go further here. Here we can see one, where is it? 1, 2, 3, still 1 update remaining. So we can see now that he have the 4 updates downloaded. Now he will begin the installation of the updates. Okay, so he has now, I think, installed 3 updates. We have 1 update remaining, and then he need to restart the machine after the installation and repeat again the process of checking for updates. Okay, this is done twice. Why? To make sure that there is no additional updates needed to be installed on this machine. We can see here that he is getting Windows updates ready. He is now configuring the updates. It will take some time, and then he will restart. We can see that he's waiting for the machine to restart, but it will not restart unless the updates are already configured. Okay, so now we have a system shutdown in process. So now we can see everything is running according to plan, or all of this, by the way, are done using the or through the JSON file, which is redirected to 2 devices, as we have said before. So it's working on the updates. It will take some time. We can pass it real quickly. Okay, here we can see that the restart is already done, and now it is again running the same script to check for updates, and we will see that there is 2 remaining updates. Okay, or still 2 updates needed. Okay, so this was not done here, so this is why we run the script again. So we can pass this real quickly. We can see that again it is running the module, running the updates. Okay, again. Now it is logging into the Windows and then begin the process of checking for updates. Okay, we can go further. We can see you have 2 updates. Okay, one I think related to security updates related to the operating system, and one also for the Windows Defender. He has already accepted the updates and now he is downloading them, and the last phase is to install the updates. This will take some time. So now he's installing the first update. Then I think he need to install the second update, and now he has ended the Windows Update installation. The last or the upcoming script is to disable auto login, because now after the Windows is updated, we need to close this virtual machine. So our process is finished, the virtual machine is completely updated, we need to close the machine and export it. Okay, so before that we need to disable the auto login, because we don't need the machine to log in automatically with a certain user. We need to provide a username and the password. Okay, not to make an auto login. Auto login here is done to automate the process of the installation, but after the installation of Windows is finished, we need to disable the auto login. And auto login is important because we are not only installing Windows, we are installing programs, and this will not be done unless you are logged into the Windows operating system. Okay, so now what he do, he has made a restart, and then he will auto login again to the machine or to the Windows operating system, and then it will disable the auto login. This is the upcoming script, and then it will clean up the Windows installation files or Windows update installation files, because it will take space from the hard disk. And finally it will halt or shut down the machine and begin exporting the virtual machine. We will see that in a moment. So these are all done previously. We can see this is are all within the JSON file. These are all steps within the JSON file. We have discussed the JSON file before. Okay, so now it is logging into the machine, and then it will begin disabling the auto login. So this is the last phase. Disable the auto login, then clean up, or after disable the auto login script is done, it will go to the last script, which is the cleanup script, which will clean up the Windows installation files on this virtual machine. Okay, as we can see here, also one of the things, this virtual machine has internet access. Okay, so the network adapter, or we should have a way to let the virtual machine access the internet and to take an IP address, even though this would be a server, but it should take IP address automatically, so uh, it can begin the installation. And this is not the IP address only, it needs also to access the internet. So you need to have a DHCP, or to have a source of internet that this machine can go through, and if the router can, or if you have a DHCP, it should provide this virtual machine with an IP address and the IP address of the router. Okay, anyway, so you can see here that it is disabling the auto login, and then it will go to the upcoming script, which is the cleanup script. Okay, and by the way, the cleanup script is a very useful script, because by the time you will have all of your servers updated, or their operating systems are updated regularly, and these installation files or the Windows Update installation files are left on the machine, and this can decrease the space on your hard disk. So you need to regularly delete the Windows Update installation files. So this script is useful. You can make a schedule task to run this script regularly on the servers to clean up your server from such Windows Update installation files. And you can put a script to clean up the temp files on the server. So this is a regular script, or this is one of the best practices to uh, always check your hard disk space on your servers, and alert, or to send an alert to you when the hard disk space is reaching a certain limit. You should be as a system admin checking the server hard disk spaces regularly, maybe once a month. Okay, anyway, so here we can see that the PowerShell module, here we can see it is scripts cleanup. Okay, this is the cleanup script. It will begin cleaning or deleting the Windows Update installation files. This will take some time, and it at the end it should, you can see here now it is cleaning all of the updates or the Windows Update installation files. These are basically in a folder named software distribution. It's a folder in the Windows operating system, and the temp, we can see here that the temp folder is deleted also, or the files in the temp folder is deleted. Now we can see that the cleanup process is done. Now it is shutting down the virtual machine, and now it is exporting the virtual machine. Okay, so by exporting the virtual machine, we're having a full backup of this machine. You can take this exported virtual machine, take a copy of it, and then import it back. Okay, just wait for a moment. And then you can import it back to the VirtualBox, and then you have a complete export of the virtual machine or a backup, and you can import it back to your VirtualBox, and we will begin adding some change or adding some hardware or additional hardware. We need to add an additional hard disk, we need to add a network adapter, additional network adapter. So now we will go to the folder that contains the exported virtual machine. Okay, it is in Packer 8 folder. Okay, this is the folder. It is in the same folder that has the Packer exe file in it. Okay, so now we can see that this is the virtual machine setting. Okay, we will not do anything else, but here we will add an additional hard disk and an additional network adapter, and then we need to team the two network adapters the same that we have done in the previous two servers. Here you can see that I have already removed the old PDC, which have Windows Server 2012 installed on it. Okay, so I have removed the old PDC. This is the new virtual machine. Here we are doing something called shared clipboard. Here we are telling him that our host clipboard and our guest clipboard, it is connected. If I copy thing on my host clipboard, it should be transferred to the virtual machine clipboard. Okay, so it is bi-directional. You can see host to guest or guest to host, or bi-directional, drag and drop. So these are two useful options, so you can transfer easily between the host and the guest. Okay, or between your laptop and between your virtual machine, copying and pasting, dragging and drop items. This will help you easily communicate back and forth between your guest and your host. Okay, so now this is the general. Then we can see that this is the RAM, and this is the firmware. The display, we need to, again, like every other or the previous two times, we need to increase the video memory. And the graphics controller should not be Super Vega, it should be Vega, because I have some problems with using VirtualBox Super Vega. Now we are adding an additional hard disk, 50 giga hard disk. This should be our data hard disk, and now we are adding another network adapter. But before that, the first network adapter, it should be connected to our server or our domain network. Okay, this is the NAT network, and then we have added another network adapter, and it is inserted to the same network, or the same domain network. And now we are sharing our default three folders that contains all of our scripts that we are using in the lab. Okay, and it will be auto mounted when we log into this virtual machine. Okay, this three folders contains the scripts that I'm using in the lab. Okay, so just to make it easy for me to access my scripts, and then after that we need to power on the virtual machine, and then we will do two steps. We will merge, or we will make teaming between the two network adapters, and we will set an IP address on the server. So this what we will do in this video, or this is the remaining part of the video. Okay, so now we have everything up and running. We need to open the new PDC. Okay, this is the new primary domain controller, and open the additional domain controller, and then this machine before. So this machine is not currently joining the domain, but we need to first team the two network adapters, set the IP address, and then join this server to the domain. Okay, so this is our new PDC or primary domain controller, As I said before, if you are restoring a snapshot, you need to make a restart after the snapshot is restored, just to make sure everything is working properly. Okay, so here I am restarting the virtual machine. So I think we can pause this, not to make everything is not working. We can go there, and now this is the welcome message of our domain. And then we can, okay, I think I will pause in the video again. Okay, so we can go further here again, just a moment. So here I will restart the server, as I said before, because I am restoring a snapshot. Okay, so now this is our primary domain controller up and running. Then we need our additional domain controller. We will restore our snapshot, and then after restoring the snapshot, we will restart the server. Okay, so now this is the additional domain controller. It will take some time. Okay, so now we need to restart the server. And after the restart, we need to open the new virtual machine and then begin working with it to set an IP address on it and join it to the domain. Okay, so now we'll open the new virtual machine. It will take some time. I think maybe I'm pausing the video. Okay, anyway, so here I am opening the virtual machine, and then I will log into this virtual machine. Okay, the user is administrator and the password is packer. Okay, we have stated this in the JSON file, so I have logged into the machine, and I need to make the display more adjustable by making view auto resize guest display. Okay, we need to do this a couple of times until it is working. It will take some time. Okay, so I'm pausing the video, and then we will make again another view and then auto resized guest display. We'll do it a couple of times, and now it is adjustable, or now it is in full screen. And then we need to copy the scripts, okay, from our shared folders. First of all, we need to go to disk management to initialize the new hard disk, add it to this virtual machine, and then partition it as one partition, and the letter drive assigned to this partition should be D. Okay, currently D is allocated to the DVD drive. We will assign E to this DVD drive and take the D to our hard disk. Okay, so now we can see this is D. We will change it. Okay, I need it to be in order. Okay, so we'll change it and give it an E. Okay, and then we will take the D letter and assign it to the partition. You need to make sure that no data is on this hard disk. Okay, if you are changing the drive letters. Okay, so now it will be formatted as NTFS, and we will label it as data and perform a quick format. So now we have it, so it will take some time. So it is healthy now, and now we need to copy our scripts from the shared folders, or the shared folders between my host or my laptop and this virtual machine. So it will take some time. Okay, now this is the shared folders. You can see VirtualBox server. Okay, We will copy the scripts and put it on the D partition. Okay, this is something very simple. It will take some time. I need to go further. So here we will open our AD collections. This is shared folder, and we will go to this folder, okay, and copy all of the content. We'll copy it and put it on the D partition, the local D partition on this server. And the first script that we will run, it is the script related to network teaming. So it will take some time. Okay, we can pause the video. Now we will run the init team partial script. I am just removing a folder, okay, because this folder should not be there. It will be created later when we migrate the DHCP server role. Now we can run safely the nickteam partial script. We have done this a lot of times, okay. It will team the two network adapters. It will wait for 20 seconds until the teaming status is up, and at the end it will give you a status of teaming up, okay. Okay, we can now run the script. It's teaming between Ethernet 1 or Ethernet and Ethernet 2. And this is also a folder related to the logs of a certain script, okay. Also this should be deleted. I will tell you why, okay. But anyway, so now we will run the script. It will take a couple of seconds until or it will give you a prompt to accept the default teaming options. Okay, tell him yes to all, okay. Teaming mode and load balance algorithm, okay. Anyway, so you accept the default setting, and then it should team the two network adapters, but their status will be degraded, okay. We will wait for 20 seconds and another 20 seconds until the status is up, okay. So this is basically what the script will do. And then we will use the script of David Rodriguez. We will not implement the whole script of David Rodriguez. We will only implement the first part of David Rodriguez's script, which is setting the IP address, and I have tweaked it a little bit because I don't need to set NTP server on this or syncing my time with external NTP servers. This is already done on the new PDC, okay. So I have tweaked the script a little. I need only the first part of David Rodriguez's script to set the IP address and DNS setting on the server. That's it, okay. So now the teaming are up, or the status is up. Now we need to go and use David Rodriguez script. Before that, we will take a snapshot, which is before setting IP address. This the thing before setting the IP address. And then we will take a snapshot. So it will take some time. Now the snapshot is taken. Now we can open David Rodriguez script, okay, especially the script for promoting the server to be an additional domain controller. We will not, of course, promote this server to be an additional domain controller, but we need to use a part of this script, the section for setting IP address, okay. It will take some time, so just pausing the video a lot of time, okay. So now you can see here some variables. Here we can see that I have changed a little bit the variables here, okay. I have removed additional DNS. Okay, I have only set the primary DNS, the gateway, the IP address, and there is a couple of setting. Okay, the Active Directory variables, it will not be implemented. We are only implementing the first part. Okay, so enable RDP, this will be done. Okay, I need to enable remote desktop on this server, so this is a good thing. Disable IE enhanced security configuration, also this will be done. The computer name, so all of these variables or all of these steps will be implemented, but it will not join or it will not promote this server to be an additional domain controller. And this is the line to create a folder to put the log uh, uh, or create a folder and put a log with the activity happened in this script. Okay, so why I have deleted this folder, because it should not be there. The script will create it for me. Okay, so anyway, so now we will run the script, but before that we need to make sure that when the IP is set on the network adapter card, it should be set on the correct network adapter card, because there are three network adapters, two, the default two, and the teaming network adapter. Okay, so we need to make sure that it is set on the teamed network adapter, and we will know this from the interface index or the index of this network adapter. So we are here initializing or implementing or running the command to get network adapter to know the interface index or the index of this or the on the network teaming adapter. Just wait for a moment. Here we can see that we need to set the IP address on the team network adapter. We have three network adapters. This we should set the IP address on it, and this index is 11, so this should be 11 and this should be 11. Okay, so this is good thing. As you can see here that it is 2 gigabyte of speed. This means that these are the teamed network adapter. Okay, anyway, so we will do this, and then we need to run the script, and don't worry, it will only implement the first part of the script, which is setting the IP address and changing the name of the server and enable RDP and disable IE security enhancement variable. Okay, so we can see it is doing the basic server configuration. Okay, we can see you are now getting access to the internet. Okay, and then it will be enable the RDP by changing the registry key related to the remote desktop. Okay, setting, and disable the IE enhancement. I think also this will be done using or by tweaking a registry key. Okay, and changing the name, and at the end you need to restart the machine after changing the name of the server. So now it is rebooting. Okay, all of this is done. RDP enabled, disabling IE enhanced security configuration, changing the name. We need to reboot, or it will reboot in 30 seconds. Okay, so after that we will do one thing. We need to add we have set the primary DNS. We will add the additional DNS, which is the additional domain controller IP address, which is acting at the same time as additional DNS. And after that we will join this server to the domain. Okay, so it is restarting. It will take some time. I think we can go further here. Okay, restarting. Okay, and then we will log in again with the administrator account. We will log in and see what happened. Again, still we didn't log in. If we can go further here. Okay, go there. So now what we are doing here we are opening the setting, and for the network adapter, if you go again like this, you can open like this. Okay, just wait for a moment. Now we will right click. This is the WinX menu or Win-X menu. This is a shortcut that will let you access a lot of settings on the server. Okay, a lot of things we can see here. If you go a little bit further, again, wait for a moment. So I need to show you this is called the Win-X menu. Okay, this will let you access, or this contains a lot of shortcuts to a lot of things on the Windows: disk management, network connections, device manager, system, event viewer, power options. This is very useful to right click on this Windows icon to get this menu: task management, setting. So we need to go to the setting, or we not go to the setting, we go to the network connections and add additional DNS. Okay. Okay, so we'll add additional DNS. And after that, we will join this server to the domain, and at the end, we have a server up and running, joining the domain. In the upcoming video, we'll begin migrating DHCP to it, migrate WSOS, migrate file server. Okay. So now this is the team network adapter. We'll tell him properties. I think this can be done using David Rodriguez. I can set the second DNS using his script, but anyway, I think it was not successful. So now I will add the additional DNS and the additional domain controller IP address in the same time. Okay, so now it's 7, and now we have it up and running. Now we need to join this server to the domain. Okay, we right click this PC and tell him properties, and then we need to go to the computer name tab or computer tab, but before that we need to click on advanced setting. The interface of Windows Server 2022 is changed a little bit or different than Windows Server 2019, so we tell him advanced system setting, and then we need to go to the computer name and then tell him to change, and then to join domain we will type skynet.internal and then provide a user that have the permissions to join workstations and servers to the domain. Basically, this is the domain admin account. You can use different account to do this process. Okay, so now I am joining this server to the domain using my account or domain admin account, and then we should provide the password. And then it should ask us after the process is ended to restart the machine. Okay, so now we have successful joining the domain. Welcome to Skynet internal domain, and then we need to close everything and restart the machine to take effect. So we need to restart and then again log in to the server. We will see that everything is changed now. We can see that we have our, if we tell him insert alt delete, we will have our welcome message, a Skynet network, and then we should log in with our domain admin account. We will see the different setting, the background, the different desktop setting done by the Active Directory login script. A lot of things actually. The keyboard English and Arabic is added, okay, or the Arabic keyboard is added. So now we are logging into using the domain admin account. So it will take some time. I think we can pause this real quickly. So now it is preparing desktop. We can see this is the background, okay, and this is the desktop icon or this PC icon containing the name of the server. Now we need to do something. I need to copy the idle logoff folder that contains the program of idle logoff from my primary domain controller to this server, because the Active Directory login script doesn't find this folder on this server, okay. And we need to do this because I need this server, if there is any user on it, to log it off after 15 minutes. So this will be done using the idle logoff program, which is on a folder in the primary domain controller. So I'll copy it and put it there, okay. So we'll do this. No, it's 2022, okay. C partition, and then copy the idle logoff folder and put it here on my server, okay. This is also best practice not to have any user accounts logged in to the server, okay. You can log in to do the job that you need momentarily or for a short time, and then log off from any server, okay, to log off, okay. So now we go to the C partition and tell him to paste. This folder will contain the idle logoff program, which will run automatically through the Active Directory login script, okay. I can tweak the Active Directory login script to copy this folder from a shared folder, for example, and put it on all of the servers, okay. This can be done, okay. Anyway, so now if you open this PC, we will see that we can see the shared folders, okay. So if you open this PC or the server, we will see that we can see the different share or different network map drives. we can see all of this. So we'll open this. We can see this is the department share folder, and this is the Active Directory home folder. Now we are opening the control panel. We need to disable the firewall. This is also a very important step, because it will it will help us not to have any problems accessing this server, okay, remotely, or later when we have the file server transferred to it. It will not do any problems, or it will not make the users unable to reach this server, okay. Anyway, so I am disabling it, and then we need to, after that, take a snapshot of the server, okay, just to be prepared for the upcoming video. So now we will take a snapshot on the 3 servers, okay, and to prepare ourselves for the upcoming video, which will be, by the way, it will be migrating the DHCP, okay. So we'll migrate the DHCP from the additional domain controller to this server, okay. Okay, so this is a very descriptive title. We will do it to the 3 servers, okay. And that's it. This is will be the end of our video, taking the snapshot to be prepared for migrating the DHCP. So this will take a snapshot, okay. Now I will go to the additional domain controller, do the same process, and go to our new primary domain controller and take a snapshot. So okay, we'll do this, and we will do the same on the PDC or our new PDC, okay, taking a snapshot, okay. And we will do this for our primary domain controller, the same. We will take a snapshot with the same process, and that's it. We will close down the servers, by machine ACP shutdown. Now we have all of our servers ready for the next phase for migrating the DHCP server role. Okay. Hope this video is informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.